Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to another English listening practice. I'm happy you're here today. Sit comfortably, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy a story together. Today's story is about a girl named Molly, a milkmaid who had big dreams and a lively imagination. It's a simple story, but it carries an important message about being patient and realistic. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine a peaceful countryside. The sun is rising slowly, spreading soft golden light over the green fields. Birds are singing. A few cows are grazing near a little wooden fence. The air smells fresh, a mix of grass, dew, and wildflowers. That's where our story begins. In a small cottage near the meadow lived Molly and her mother. They weren't rich, but they worked hard and lived happily. Every morning, before most of the village was awake, Molly helped her mother milk the cows. She loved the quiet sound of the barn, the warm breath of the animals, and the gentle splash of milk filling the pail. One morning, after finishing her chores, Molly's mother filled a large pail with fresh milk and handed it to her. "Take this milk to the market, dear," she said kindly. "Walk carefully and don't spill it. This is our week's income." Molly nodded, smiling. "Don't worry, mother. I'll be careful." She lifted the pail and balanced it on her head. The handle was cool against her fingers. As she stepped outside, the sun warmed her face, and she started along the narrow path to the market. The road was quiet and beautiful. Butterflies floated through the air, and the grass brushed softly against her skirt. At first, Molly walked slowly, focusing on her steps. But after a while, her thoughts began to wander, as they often did. She started thinking about the money she would earn from selling the milk. "Let's see," she said softly to herself. "When I sell this milk, I'll have enough to buy a dozen eggs. I'll take good care of them until they hatch. And then I'll have chickens. The chickens will lay eggs, and I'll sell those eggs at the market too." The idea made her smile. "I'll make more and more money," she whispered. "Then I can buy more chickens. And after that, maybe even a cow of my own. Yes, I'll be the richest milkmaid in the village." Her imagination ran wild. She could almost see herself in a fine new dress, maybe blue with little white flowers. She imagined walking through the market proudly, everyone watching her with admiration. "Oh, look at Molly," they would say. "She's so successful and smart." Molly laughed softly. "When they see me, I'll just toss my head like this and walk right past them." And she actually tossed her head, forgetting that the heavy pail was balanced on top. In that single moment, everything went wrong. The pail tipped, wobbled for a second, and then splash! The milk poured out onto the ground. Molly gasped and froze. The milk spread across the dusty road, soaking into the earth. Her heart dropped. "Oh no, what have I done?" she whispered. She knelt down, watching helplessly as the milk disappeared. All her plans, the eggs, the chickens, the cow, the pretty dress, vanished in an instant. There was nothing left but an empty pail. For a moment she wanted to cry, but crying wouldn't bring the milk back. Slowly, she stood up, lifted the pail, and started the long walk home. The road that had seemed bright a few minutes earlier now felt endless. The birds still sang, but Molly didn't hear them. Her steps were heavy, and she kept her eyes on the ground. When she reached the cottage, her mother saw her coming and noticed the empty pail. "Molly," she said gently, "what happened?" Molly bit her lip. I, I spilled the milk," she said in a small voice. Her mother frowned slightly. "How did that happen?" So Molly told her everything. About her dream of buying eggs, raising chickens, selling eggs, becoming rich, buying a new dress, and how, while imagining all that, she had tossed her head and spilled the milk. When she finished, her mother didn't scold her. Instead, she sighed softly and said, "My dear, it's good to dream. Dreams give us something to hope for, but you must not live only in your dreams. You were thinking about eggs before you had chickens, and chickens before you had money. You forgot to take care of the milk you already had." Molly looked down. "I know, Mother. I was foolish." Her mother smiled gently. "It's all right. Everyone makes mistakes. But remember this. Don't count your chickens before they hatch." Molly nodded slowly. I understand now. That evening, she sat by the window, watching the sunset. The sky was glowing with shades of orange and pink. She held the empty pail in her lap and thought about what had happened. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. She realized she had been so busy dreaming about the future that she forgot to take care of the present. The next morning, Molly woke up early again. Her mother handed her another pail of milk. Here, she said with a smile. Try again. This time, Molly walked carefully. She still dreamed, but she didn't let her thoughts carry her away. She watched the path, took steady steps, and kept her balance. When she reached the market, she sold the milk for a fair price. The coins jingled in her hand, and she felt proud. Not just because she had earned money, but because she had learned something important. On her way home, she bought a small loaf of bread and a few apples for her mother. As she walked, she looked at the sky, still bright and blue, and smiled. The fields were the same, the road was the same, but Molly felt different inside. She felt wiser, calmer, and more grounded. From that day on, Molly still dreamed, but she worked with patience and care. She learned that real success comes not from daydreaming, but from small, steady steps.